Welcome back to Amplified. My next guest is a former NFL player and a current minority owner of the Atlanta Falcons. But he's not here to tell us about football. Instead, Warrick Dunn is here to talk to me about housing. Since the 90s, Dunn and his charitable organization and partners have been working to build housing for families with single parents. Dunn's Home for the Holidays program offers down payment assistance, full furnishings, and everything else a family needs when moving into their first home. And while most of us will be snacking on appetizers and watching the game this weekend, Warrick and his team will be celebrating a big milestone: 200 houses for 200 families in need. Actually, the 200th happened today, but I know the family will still be celebrating this weekend. Warrick Dunn, welcome to Amplified. We have him here with us on the phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
You know, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I want you to talk about what inspired you to launch this program in the first place. You dealt with housing insecurity as a child and then ultimately dealt with tragedy. So can you start by just sharing your story with us?
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for having me on. So, for me, this journey started in 1997 when I was challenged by Coach Dungy to get involved and give back to the community. And I had to think about the things that I wanted to do. And I thought about my mom, her dream of home ownership. My mom was a Baton Rouge City police officer that was shot and killed on the line of duty. And being the oldest of six, really understanding her dream, the things that she wanted for her kids, she wasn't able to realize. So I wanted to live out her dream through other single parent families. And so that first year we did 3 homes in Tampa. And, I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I was just, enjoying the moment and I took it for granted. And when I saw the news, later that night, I was just like, wow, I need to do this again and again and again. And that's what really the journey started.
Mm,
Did I know that I would be, going on 25 years of doing this? That wasn't the plan. The plan was just to give back
wow.
in that moment. This has just really built over the years, and I just had a lot of support, people driving me, just had a really good team. And the team has really helped push me, along. And I'm just so thankful that, they believe in me.
Mm,
I had great board members,
mm-hmm.
but most importantly, I've been able to really assist, you know, 200 single parent families, life changing moments, but
Mm,
most importantly, the kids, right? We've been able to really help create a stable environment for kids, for families. And, now when you
mm-hmm.
have stable housing, it solves a lot of society issues. Kids perform better in schools, teenage pregnancy is down. Uh, they're much more successful, after they get out of school, getting really good jobs. So it just creates a lot of stability, but they're much more confident in themselves. And, as an organization, we're just trying to continue to push and really expand and potentially get to all NFL markets moving forward.
Yeah. Wow. So you launched Warwick Dunn Charities and the Homes for the Holiday program. Your website calls it a hand up and not a hand out for single parent families. What do you mean by that? And why is it not characterizing your efforts as a handout so important here?
Well, one thing just growing up, I understand nothing is for free, right? We all have to work for the things that we want in life. And for me, the biggest issues that my mom had was she couldn't afford down payment assistance, to save money for down payment assistance. If we did move into a home, we wouldn't have been able to fully furnish it, to put furniture in there. We would have just been like every other family, still sleeping on sofa beds and those things just growing up. And we say that we're giving a hand up and not a handout because as a recipient, you still have to do the work. It's those little things that really keep you going. So we're trying to support them, not take care of them. We're supporting them along their journey of home ownership. And that's why we assist
Mm,
with additional $5,000 down payment assistance and fully furnishing the home. And that is a hand up and
mm,
not a handout because the real work starts when they move in. They have to work on all these budgeting, maintaining a house, renting and owning is different. right? You're responsible when you're owning the home. So we're trying to educate our families just to be better. But they have to do their part. If they do their part, we're going to do our part as an organization and help assist them.
Now, tell me about the reaction from the families. This is so amazing that they get to walk into a fully furnished home. So how are people reacting?
Well, some of the best reactions are, I know when we hand the keys over, I know that really takes them by storm. But when you walk through the front door and they see everything, that living room, that this is theirs, they can't believe it sometimes. And it is jaw dropping, it's emotional. Today's reaction, Felicia, she just stopped and started crying. She could not believe it. I mean, she was like, is this really mine? And it's those moments that are, why we just keep pushing, right? It's those moments that are game changers for us because we want to see a difference, but we also know that people work hard. They're committed. They've they've made the sacrifice. They've taken a chance to put themselves in this position, and this is a reward for hard work. But again, the work really starts after you become a homeowner. So those emotions, they never get old. Those things, for me, because I get emotional from time to time, because I think about what if, and early on, it was really about, I could have dreamed or wished that my mom could have experienced this. And just living out her dream, it gets me a little bit emotional. But when you see the families walk through the doors, the kids run into their rooms, today, Raymond, her teenage son, he was ready to move in right then and there. He was like, when can we move? I mean, it was those reactions, those sayings that are like, oh my God, this is mine. This is mine. I mean, when you have those reactions, those are moments that will last forever.
That's beautiful. I want to ask you about a letter that you wrote that's on your website, reacting to the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. You mentioned your mom was a police officer and say that the vast majority of police officers live up to their oath to serve and protect. You also say that doesn't mean we can't call out systemic issues in race, policing, and criminal justice. So what changes do you want to see, and how do you think we can make that happen?
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up. For me, it's important that we need law enforcement. They are a key part of our society. They keep us safe, but we need to also hold them accountable. And I've mentioned this before that my mom, she wouldn't have stood for that stuff. She would have said, that is wrong. That's not how we treat each other. We don't gun people down. I mean, it's just, it's sickening in a sense, but we need to have real reform. And part of that is not defunding the police, but creating more access and resources for police officers. We need to have better training, and it's not necessarily military training. We need to train them so they're protectors, they're guardians, right? They're protecting us and not in warrior mentality, right? A lot of times they're training as a warrior. We're in America. They're supposed to protect us. So I think for me, it's important that we really help them with their training, just really providing counselors, individuals that they can talk to, but we have to make sure that,
the work that
ma'am?
The work that you are doing is really transforming people's lives for sure, and I'm sure just shifting communities. Warrick Dunn, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Amplified. We appreciate it.